and welcome to another daily devotion as we stay connected online. Today we are in the second week of Parables of Jesus, and we have a tough one today from Luke 16. Earlier in the week I talked about building bigger barns and the fool who, despite this great blessing of surplus, just kept it all to himself. Couldn't share it, couldn't see the gifts that God had given him as a means to help share joy and build kingdom around him. Well, today Jesus tells another story, another pointed story about money. Gosh, I wish Jesus wouldn't talk about money all the time, but he does quite often. 1 in every 10 stories Jesus tells is about our money. He says there's a rich man and a poor beggar at his gates. You know, his gate is communicating, beep, I'm here to see Mr. So-and-so. And the gates, kind of electronically open up. Well, there's Lazarus, this man who's poor, and he begs the man every day as he comes home in his flashy Mercedes, hey, I know you've got scraps of food, maybe some bread that's going bad. You got anything that you're just going to throw out? Because I haven't eaten in a week, and I just need something. Can you give me whatever you're going to throw to the dogs? Can you let me have some of that before you give it to them? That's how desperate he is. But this man can't be bothered. Even though this guy is right on his doorstep. And instead he goes in, enjoys his fine foods and his fine home. And I got to thinking about a story you've probably heard, a person who's devoutly praying, God, Jesus, please show me today, what you'd like me to do. And early that morning, a young pregnant mom, neighbor comes over, do you have some spare milk? Do you have something that I can help feed my family because we're tight right now and we don't have anything. She said, well, I can't right now because Jesus told me he's coming and he's going to be here, so I have to clean the house and I'm baking some things for dinner. Shuts the door and the woman goes away. Then later, a man gets a flat tire, comes up. Do you think you could let me in to call a tow company? I'm in distress here. My kids are in the back. I'm on my way to a meeting and I need some help, really. She's like, really, I can't right now. Jesus is coming today, so I'm just in the middle of vacuuming and picking up, and you're going to track things, the dirt from the rain and stuff. You can't. Sorry. And then right around 6 o'clock, she's got all the meal ready. She's got some candles lit. She wants to make it, put out her best china. Jesus is coming. Somebody rings the doorbell. She's like, this has to be Jesus. She's put up her makeup and done herself up. She opens the door, and here's this kid walking around. He said, I'm trying to raise money for this charity because my friend in class has cancer, and do you think you might? And she's just, listen, I am expecting somebody important. Come back tomorrow. And she slams the door in the kid's face, and she waits there as the candles start to burn down late in the evening. Dinner's getting cold. She's upset. She bought this fine meal. She spent hours cooking it. Where the heck are you? And he goes to prayer. Jesus, where you been? And you've heard this story. I've told it a little differently than perhaps you've heard it. You told me you were coming today, and I was supposed to help you out here. And he said, well, I showed up this morning, and your neighbor woman looking for help. I showed up, man, in the car, and then that child was trying to raise money for his dying friend. I came to your house 3 times today. You failed to let me in. This poor beggar's outside the rich man's house, and they both die. Lazarus, it says, the rich man goes to Hades, and Lazarus is up, cuddled in Abraham's bosom. And the rich man, kind of like a Christmas story, Charles Dickens' story, classic, he's kind of like Scrooge. He says, talks to the angels, he says, send Lazarus to come down here, dip his hand in some water, because it's tormented down here. I'm hot, I'm thirsty, I'm in agony. I've never experienced any kind of suffering like this in my life. My money's protected me. And Abraham says, I can't. It's too late. There's a big chasm between here and there, even if I could. Old AME preaching professor of mine used to say, Lazarus used to tell, you go tell that rich man, I ain't going to be his water boy no more. I ain't coming to help him anymore. I'm not going to be his doormat anymore. Things have changed. Last or first or last. And it reminds me of a last story. I was at this preaching conference. Christian Century put it on. It's downtown, right off of Michigan Avenue, right off the Miracle Mile. It's in some kind of like art showcase place. It wasn't an art museum, but it was a hoity-toity kind of locale. And as a guest speaker, they flew in a famous name, and we were all gathered there, a 4-course meal, sitting around, chandeliers and fine china. And they had a break, and we went out, and I'm walking down Michigan Avenue, and I'm walking by a partition in the buildings, in between the buildings. It's dark, it's like a little alcove. And there's a little huddled mass there, and I see it's a woman. And I stoop down, and my eyesight's not very good from distance, and I say, are you hungry? Can I get you anything? And I notice curled up alongside the woman is a young boy. There, 2 of them are there just shivering, as all the shoppers are just walking by. They are right there, within 3 to 5 feet in the shadows, but light years away, invisible. She said, yeah, that would be nice. Well, where would you like food from? What do you mean? What would you like? The kid comes out of nowhere. Do you think we could have McDonald's? Could I get a Happy Meal, a cheeseburger, some fries? Is that what you'd really like? Yeah. Do you think I could have it? Sure, absolutely. What would you like? And so, bringing back this food. And as I'm bringing it back, I thought, how busy are we all? I mean, this moment on the sidewalk is kind of a microcosm of life, right? Some of us are so intent on where it is that we go, what's on our schedule, who we got to be with, what time we got to get there, that we don't have enough time to see the need of Lazarus right at our doorstep. So during this time, I'd ask, who is it in your life that's hurting? Have we even had the time to notice? And what's going on with us if we are so absorbed with all the other stresses of life that we don't have time for each other? The rich man says, Lord Abraham, send some angels to my brothers. Warn them that what we do in this life matters, not to ignore people like Lazarus. And the angels say, if they didn't believe Abraham, they're not going to believe even if someone to rise from the dead and tell them this is what God's kingdom looks like. They may not even notice. Wow. Jesus is trying to paint a story, kind of like those angels of past, present, and future. This is your life. You got this moment between birth date and death date called the dash. You've read the poem maybe. It's a beautiful poem. Go read it if you haven't. How do you live your dash? How are the least in God's kingdom treated by you? Have you even seen them? In a time when everybody's so worried about everything, worried we might catch something, let's not turn so inward that we're so worried that we don't care about our brothers and sisters.